Hey guys, it's Alec Torelli. In my last video, I talked about how much is your time worth, and I challenged people to find an answer to that number and then outsource everything that they determine to be worth less than the time that the value of their time. So if your time is worth $50 an hour, if you can outsource a task or buy back that hour for less than $50, then you should outsource it. That was my theory. Now, today's video, I'd like to talk a bit about why I think outsourcing is the right thing to do, and why I think that everybody should do it, and why I think that society benefits as a whole. I feel like the stigma is negative from society's standpoint when it comes to not doing things that everybody else sort of has to do. And I feel like people feel embarrassed or a little arrogant or entitled when, even if they say, like, I have an assistant, it's a little bit embarrassing to say something like that, because it sort of puts you in a position, like an elevated position, and it's somewhat embarrassing to say that to somebody else. So I feel like, and I've had questions about this where a lot of people are like, you know, they don't feel worthy of outsourcing something or of having someone else do something because they feel like, well, to be connected to everybody as a whole, or connected to society and humanity, everybody should do some things in their life they don't like. Now, I agree that you need to keep your feet on the ground, and you need to do things that keep you connected to society as a whole. Like, if you live in the clouds completely, then I think that you're losing something. You're losing your ability to give, and you're losing your ability to connect with people and to understand people when you're so far disconnected from them that you share nothing with the life of someone that's normal. So I believe that there's some things that you should do and that you perhaps shouldn't outsource, and there are some things that you should experience that keep you connected to the way that everybody else lives life. So maybe you could say, I'm gonna outsource 90% of what I do, and the other things I'm going to do personally because I still wanna feel normal. Or maybe you could find other ways to connect to society as a whole. But I don't think that essentially wasting valuable time that you could afford to outsource if you have something important or productive to do, or you could afford to do it, is justified simply because you say, I need to be like everybody else. I just don't think the ends meet the means, and I'll explain why. And I also think there's other ways that you could connect to people while still outsourcing everything that you do, right? I don't think the two are mutually exclusive. Just because someone decides that they don't want to ever do 80 or 90 or close to 100% of the chores and things that are annoying that most people unfortunately have to do in life, doesn't mean that they're necessarily an asshole or they can't empathize or understand society. They could still volunteer for charity. They could still try and end world hunger. They could do a lot of things with the time that they save that connect them to people as a whole, right? I believe that someone like Oprah Winfrey or Mother Teresa, like, I don't know if they do their dishes or do all their errands, but it seems like they're pretty damn connected to the average person. So I just don't buy the logic that it disconnects you from society as a whole. I actually think that if you have something in your life that is bigger than yourself, that you're doing that is actually important, I feel like you are almost ethically obligated to spend as much time doing that as possible, right? If you believe that you're doing something super important, let's use Mother Teresa or Oprah, like whatever. You can use Mother Teresa as an example. It's easy for everybody to appreciate what she did and what she contributed to the world. If I'm the average person, I want Mother Teresa to spend as much of her time doing whatever it is that she does that contributes to making the world a better place. So I don't want, even if I have nothing to gain personally by Mother Teresa's, like, ending world hunger, even if I'm a billionaire, I still want what's best for humanity as a whole, or best for the universe, or best for the world as a whole, to be done by every single person, because that makes the world a better place. It raises the quality of life for humanity. It just makes our species better. It's better for everybody. So even if you have nothing to gain personally, you still probably would say, if I could choose what Mother Teresa was going to do for this next hour, she could either fold her laundry, or she could spend an hour, campaigning to end world hunger. I think it's trivial. And I think it's objective that everybody in the world would say, look, it's better if Mother Teresa spends more of her time doing those things because she has something important to do. I would also say that the person that is, in the third world that stands to benefit from Mother Teresa's efforts obviously wants Mother Teresa to do the thing that is going to help raise that person's personal quality of life. They actually have a personal interest in her, even if they aren't directly affected. Just the fact that she's trying to end world hunger, whatever activist campaign she's trying to do, the people that stand to benefit want her to outsource as much of her life as possible so she can spend her time doing the highest productivity items. The person that receives the outsourced task now has a job they otherwise wouldn't have, and presumably, if you're paying someone fair market value, then they're happy to have a job that they won't otherwise have, right? By outsourcing parts of your life, you are providing work for people that don't have it. So you're benefiting directly one person whose life wouldn't have been benefited. The last thing, and arguably the most important, is that you are freeing up your time and your energy to do something that could impact the lives of millions of people. Folding your laundry impacts the life of one person, which is you. If you have something you're doing in your life that is important to society or the world as a whole, that 1 hour is exponentially more beneficial if it's spent doing something that could actually help society. So I think the tendency is to argue that it's sort of arrogant or selfish or almost condescending to employ people to do menial tasks in your life. But it's actually more selfish from society's standpoint if you do those tasks yourself. If you believe or if you think at all that your life is bigger than your own, that you're here for a bigger purpose, and there's something you could do to connect to the world and leave your dent in the universe, as Steve Jobs says, or however you want to think about it, even if you could only influence the life of 5 people, even if it's ever more than one person, then doing something that only benefits you, like folding your laundry or doing your dishes, etc., is not as high of a utility item as doing something that could benefit whatever it is that you're doing, right? Even if you're a teacher, maybe you teach 20, 30 people, whatever that's maybe not the best analogy, but whatever it is, right? If you could spend that time working for a charity that brings you happiness and fulfillment, and things that give you energy allow you to give more, whereas things that take your energy away, those things suck your energy away, and it makes it harder for you to give. So if you spend your time doing something you hate, then it's going to be harder for you to give your energy to something that you love, and the things that you give to are things that benefit the world the most. So it's really important that we have a society where as many people as possible are giving as much as possible. That's the only way that the quality of life of the world increases. The best chance we have to solve the world's problems are the people that are fortunate enough to be able to outsource are doing it as much as possible, right? I want someone like Elon Musk spending as much of his waking life as possible trying to solve the problem of solar energy or artificial intelligence, whatever it is he's doing. And I think everybody wants that to happen. So the people that have the fortune to do it or that are just dealt a good hand in life, and whatever it is, they're fortunate enough to be in a position where their time is actually spent contributing largely to society as a whole, or even small to society as a whole, or even if they're going to spend that time volunteering to charity to help recovering alcoholics, you should be outsourcing every single thing you could do. You should be employing work for other people if you can afford it, and you should be using your time to give as much as possible. The time that you spend giving gives you energy, right? It's like exercising. When you exercise, you don't get more tired, you get more energy. When you spend time giving to other people and helping other people, at the end of that day, you have a shitload of energy because you're filled up. And you're doing something that touches your spirit and you feel like your life has a purpose. That gives you energy, right? There's a recipient of energy between you and the people that you're giving to. When you're doing something that you hate doing, it takes your energy away and you now have no energy left to give. So not only is that 1 hour not spent helping other people, but the second or the third hour, you might have less energy to help other people because your energy is sucked away from doing something you hate. So I feel like everybody has an obligation to outsource as much stuff as possible and spend as much of their time possible doing things that contribute the most to society. Now, if what you're doing in life doesn't contribute to society, fine. But you probably would still find more personal enjoyment by outsourcing things as much as possible. And then if you're a happier person, you have more extra to give to society. The point is that nobody can give what they don't have. So if you don't have your personal needs met yet, of course, you can't necessarily use what's left over to give to other people. And if what you're doing now isn't like necessarily the thing that's helping the most amount of people, that's a conversation for a separate video. But most people do things in life that have some utility or benefit to society as a whole. And the more amount of your time that you can spend doing that, the better world we are going to have. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know it's a big one. I'd love to hear your thoughts in a comment below. Please share them with me. Let me know what you think. And let me know if you've had experiences with this as well, positive or negative, or tips you have for outsourcing as well. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm putting out a lot more content soon. I would love to continue to have conversations with you guys. So leave your comments, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Cheers.